Hey, what's going on, good people, man? Today, man, I want to talk about something, man, that's very encouraging for me, very near and dear to my heart. Stay tuned after this.
Most definitely,
Hey, so listen, y'all. I want to talk about this. It's very, very encouraging and very important to me, right now, man. And that's just loving yourself. You know what I mean? Really, truly loving yourself. And like, what does it look like? You know what I'm saying? Today, I had something that was very, very encouraging that happened to me, man. I had a chance to sit down and talk to my son. And we're talking about growing his Twitch channel up and getting his things up and going and stuff like that. And in the midst of our conversation, one of the things I began to realize is the importance of, loving yourself. And as I'm talking to him, I'm thinking about a lot of the things that was being said in that moment, you know what I'm saying? And it was actually inspiring me and helping me to understand the importance of loving yourself and falling in love with yourself. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? When you begin to love yourself, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you do, man, no matter what it is, you begin to fall in love with yourself, right? And, I'm not saying like, we can't learn from each other. I'm not saying like we can't, grow and have, knowledge and insight that others give us. But I'm just beginning to realize that the more that you begin to look at yourself, man, and you start to see how important you are and your value, you'll start to see like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I'm a person who is created uniquely. I'm different. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the same, the same voice or the same shape or the same mindset as another person. And that's what sets you aside. And so it's learning to fall in love with your unique, gifted, and talented self. You know what I'm saying? You're so great at the things that you do. So these are some of the things that I've been wrestling with, and I have wrestled with, in my past, just learning like, man, who I am is important and who I am matters. I have so much value to give. And that's what I wanted to encourage you guys with today. You know what I'm saying? Like looking into your life and seeing all of the skills and the talents that you have, you know what I'm saying? And knowing how gifted and unique you are, man. You know what I'm saying? And that was the biggest thing that I had to learn in my life personally is that, the more that I kept myself quiet and the more that I was sitting down and didn't say anything, I began to realize that, I was slowly but surely losing the value or slowly but surely losing the value of that moment, being able to reach forward and say something or inspire somebody or to encourage somebody. Right. And so like with that being said, you know what I'm saying? Let me turn this up right quick, y'all. With that being said, you know what I'm saying? It was something that personally for me, I began to see like, wow, you know what I'm saying? This is a place in my life where I have to start loving myself. And I want to ask that question. Are you loving yourself? Are you looking at what you're doing in this moment right now? And are you looking at it as if it's something that has value and it's meaningful, right? Are you looking at yourself in that way? When you look at yourself in the mirror, what are you seeing? What are you saying to yourself? Are you beating yourself up for yesterday's mistakes? Are you, slowly but surely, you know what I'm saying, listening to the criticisms of others and owning those as a part of you? I'm beginning to realize that criticisms is just somebody else's opinion or, somebody else's information given to me. And it's up to me whether I choose or what to do with it, right? Or if I choose to receive it or if I choose to dismiss it. Now, if you dismiss it, that doesn't make you less of a person. That doesn't make you a negative person. It's just certain times and seasons for everything. Imagine if you try to plant a seed while it was winter outside, it wouldn't grow. So there are certain seasons and times for everything. But as you learn to love yourself, you'll begin to see that you're not that bad of a person. You know what I'm saying? That you have so much inside of you where you can make a difference, right? I was listening to this podcast earlier and I was hearing all of the information and things that people were saying. And I began to realize something, that everybody has an opinion and everybody has a different point of view. But when you start to evaluate other people's opinions and you start to look at them and you start to own them as your own and you begin to feel bad about something someone else said based on opinion or experience, you know what I'm saying? And you're not looking into your own life, your own personal life and examining your growth and your progress, you're putting yourself further into a hole, right? So learning to love yourself looks like this. It wakes up every morning and says that, you know what, I might not do this perfectly, but I'm trying every single day to get better. I'm making a decision to look at myself and say, you know what, this is what I have to do to get better. And I'm going to get better, and I'm also not going to just feel bad about being in situations where I don't know everything or I don't have everything to give, but I'm going to learn everything that I can learn, right? And I'm going to apply it and get better and get better and get better. Falling in love with yourself is very important Because as you fall in love with yourself, the biggest thing I begin to realize is you start to see yourself for who you really are. You start to look at yourself like, wow, man, I really do that really nice. I really do have a good voice. Or I really do, write songs really well. You have to start examining your own personal life. And personally in my life, the biggest challenges that I come up against has been just honoring other people more so than myself. And that's a dangerous thing. Now, it's good to look at others and give them honor and give credit to where credit is due. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are giving credit and you're not looking at who you are as a person, overlooking yourself to lift someone else up, to take the pressure off of you because you're so good at something, then you're slowly but surely, dismissing, all the things that make you you. And I'm realizing that standing in that place and standing in the place of being gifted or standing in the place of being awesome, that is learning to fall in love with yourself. Because you do things that are awesome and excellent. You know that you are gifted. You know that you're talented. But how can you stand in situations and positions and own it and not feel bad for your gifts? And these are the things I had to ask myself. So I had to learn how to fall in love with who I was as a person and see that I am lovable, that I am someone who God has created for a purpose, and that I have something of value, something to give, right? And that's what I want to encourage you with today. Are you loving yourself? Are you falling in love with yourself? And I know it sounds weird, like, yo, what are you talking about? I'm saying, like, really, you have to learn to be patient with yourself. You have to learn to forgive yourself. You have to learn to be kind to yourself. We are our biggest critic. We are our biggest critics. If you're a musician like me, right? You will look at your actual work and then you will examine it and you'll say, this is not good enough. But someone else will hear them and be like, man, this is really awesome, because to someone else, it's treasure, right? It's valuable because it means something to them because they don't have. So I want you to begin to see that, like, and realize that in your life is that the things that you've been given, you've been given for a purpose. And when I start to look at myself in the mirror and start to really look at who I was as a person and knowing I'm not perfect. Yes, I do things that are not always right and things that, I wish I could get better and better and better at, but you don't beat yourself up. You make an effort to continue to get up and keep moving, right? This is loving yourself. This is falling in love with who you are, realizing that, listen, I don't do everything perfect, but I'm making a decision to make an effort to go forward every single day to do the best that I can in that day. And I want to ask you that question. Are you making a decision to say, I want to get better today? And if you are in this place right now, you're in the best place of your life, because what you're telling yourself is that I love who I am. I love who I am and where I am, but I do want to get better at what I do. And that is loving yourself. That is actually falling in love with who you are, because you are a person that doesn't give up. You are a person that was built for the assignment that is on your life. And it doesn't seem that way. Currently now I'm getting a house built from the ground up, and now they finished actually building the outside, but they're building the inside of it. And what I had to realize is that the foundation is the most critical and important part to that house. Without the foundation, the house can't stand. And your foundation is falling in love with who you are, beginning to see your value, beginning to see your importance is the most important thing in this situation. Now, everyone knows I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus Christ. I don't shun that, and I say it proudly because that's who I am. I love who I am. But I understand something, that Jesus could love you unconditionally. But if you don't take the time to start to love yourself, you won't feel the love that he gives to you, because you're constantly beating yourself up. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that I'm going to make it through this. I'm going to overcome this, and I'm a winner. Nothing's going to defeat me, no matter what situation comes my way. So falling in love with yourself speaks those things. You have to understand that love is something that is patient. Love is kind. Love is long suffering. Love is always believing, always trusting. Fall in love with who you are as a person. Because as you love yourself, it's easier to love others. It's no effort. It's effortless because you're beginning to love yourself. So falling in love with who you are is the foundation. That's the foundation to everything that is going to get better and better and better in your life. So, that's what I had to start doing. I had to start, challenging myself in those moments, even when I make decisions that are not right, even when I do things that are wrong, even when I'm unsure at times. You have to continue to remind myself that, I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect for this situation. I can do this. I can get out of this situation with constantly effort, with working, and with moving forward. Think of someone who plays sports, for example. They don't just tell themselves that I'm not going to run this ball up the court and I'm not going to, I'm not just going to dunk it. They tell themselves that I'm taking this ball down here to go and score. And that is what life looks like. Life, you have to tell yourself, listen, I am going to make this score. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make this happen, to make this shot, to make this, whatever you have to do, to pass the ball, to whatever you have to do. You're making a decision to tell yourself that, I'm going to get better. And that is learning to fall in love with yourself. You can't give up in the process moving forward, because the more you move forward, the more it's going to require for you to own, truly who you are. You have to begin to see that even through all your mistakes. There's many times after a ball game, I'm pretty sure, even if they win the championship, a ball player says, I could have did that better. But they won the championship. They got back up. They kept going. They kept moving. And the question today is, are you loving yourself? Are you falling in love with yourself? Because if you beat yourself up for every pass that you threw and it wasn't perfect, but y'all won, then you're missing the opportunity to enjoy that moment. So I want to encourage you. I want to tell you that, this too will pass if you're in a season where things are not working out correctly, where things are working out, not the way you anticipated, the way that you hope for them to be. There's many times in my life where I get discouraged, not in the sense of not to move forward, but like, why is not everything the way that I desire it to be? And then I begin to realize that, I can't be frustrated with the outside of the things that I wish to be connected to me. I have to own my own things, and I have to work on my foundation. And your foundation is the most important part to building that house, to holding that house up. Because once the boards are up, once the outside is built, and then you start to work on the inside, things begin to change instantly for you, right? And so that's what I begin to see. That's where success, is built. Success is built on foundation. Constantly driving it in your mind and telling yourself, like, I can do this, I can overcome this situation. And so I don't want to get to a place in my life where I begin to love others more than I love myself. Because when you begin to do that, you get what I'm saying, you lose a sense of who you are. You lose a sense of your identity. You have to continue to love yourself. Now, I'm not saying be selfish. I'm saying, like, own the things that are in your life right now. You are somebody who is talented. You're somebody who's gifted. You're somebody who has what it takes to make it. And as you continue to tell yourself these things, this is loving yourself. This is falling in love with yourself. And sometimes you got to date yourself. Sometimes you got to hug yourself. It sounds very weird, but you do. Because it's just as important to love yourself. You know what I mean? Because what you tell yourself ultimately is going to be how you treat others. How you feel about yourself is ultimately what you're gonna give. And so I want to encourage you, fall in love with yourself again. Wake up in the morning time and tell yourself you're the most beautifulest thing in the world. Continue to tell yourself, that I can do this regardless of the things that I'm seeing, regardless of the pressures that is up against me. As you tell yourself these things, man, things turn around instantly for you, and things get better and better and better and better each day. But it starts with your foundation. What are you building your foundation on? Are you building it on insecurities and regrets and shame? And I didn't throw that pass right, or I didn't make that song right, or this thing wasn't right. Because if you're striving for perfection, you begin to realize that perfection is impossible. Because in this life, we're going to always want to get better. So don't strive to be perfect. Strive to do it in the right manner and in the right way. And by doing that, you get what I'm saying? This is how success begins to become a part of your life. And this is how you learn to fall in love with who you are. Because you're going to not do everything perfect. There's going to be a lot of things that you do that are imperfect, and a lot of things that you do that are not right. But you have to continue to tell yourself that even though this situation is not perfect, don't beat yourself up to perfection, because perfection in this life is impossible. We have to continue to strive each day to get better. That's always something that should be on the front of our minds. But you don't want to push yourself to perfection to where you eventually lose the identity of who you truly are. Because perfection is impossible in this world. But great achievement and effort and putting forth everything that you have to make it happen is possible. So you have to fall in love with yourself. Tell yourself, I can do this. Tell yourself this ain't too hard for me. Tell yourself I'm going to get back up. Tell yourself that this situation was designed for me to win. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make it in this situation. This relationship with myself, I'm going to love myself until the brakes fall off. I'm going to compliment myself, and that's not being vain. If you've been in a situation where you've constantly told yourself that you can't do it, you constantly said, look at the ugly decisions that you made. Look at all the time that you spent, you know what I'm saying, mingling and becoming friends and relationships with worry and doubt and insecurities. It's time for you to break free of that and marry yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to fall in love with who you are. And you're somebody who is important and you matter and you're very valuable. You're very valuable. You know what I mean? So I want to encourage you with that and let you know that. Listen, if you're new on this channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I want to encourage you to, because we do talks like this often. These are Zaya Talks, and I like to sit down and I love to share, you know what I mean, my journey and the things I've been through and what I speak to myself daily, you know, with those that are in need of it. And this is important, you know what I'm saying, that we connect, because by connecting, what we do is, you know what I'm saying, we are becoming one. You know, and that's so important and that's so big. So I want to encourage you to hit that subscribe key. And if you know somebody that could benefit from this, I want to encourage you to send this to them. You know what I mean? Let them know that they matter, that they valuable. You know what I'm saying? That you can fall in love with yourself, that you can begin to love who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And so that's what I aim to do and strive to do, to encourage, to uplift, and to inspire, you know what I mean, in this time and in this season and in this world, because that is so important. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for dropping by the Most Definitely channel. Down in the description, you'll find all of my links there from my podcast over to my music. You know, my first two albums, Throne Room Music 1, Throne Room Music 2. Want to encourage you to check those out as well. And, you know, don't forget to send me a like, and also let me know how you've been loving yourself. Let me know how you have been, you know, looking forward to the person that you are now, but the person that you are becoming. You get what I'm saying? So loving yourself is so important. And know that this season for you is going to get better and better as you fall in love with yourself. So thank you guys for dropping by, checking me out on Zaya Talks. And I want to encourage you, you know, to continue to speak well and speak life over yourself every single day. And listen, one last thing before we go. You already know. Most definitely.